There are three branches of government, and we all know that. I think we're the forgotten branch to some extent because our budget is so small, and we essentially, in our pure judicial role, do our jobs and go home. We don't want to lead and we don't want to follow. We just want to stay out of the way and do our jobs. I think that's what makes a great judge. However, in this area, we need to do more. We need to lead, and we also need, even within our adjudicatory role, we need to stand up and we need to insist that the parties before us, who are the agencies, the child advocates, the parent advocates, the CASAs, the guardians, do more. Because what's at stake here is not some money moving from a defendant to a plaintiff. It's not even the criminal cases, which are obviously important because there's some liberty interest, but they involve adults who, assuming for a second that they're guilty, did the crime, and if they're not, I hope the system figures that out and finds them not guilty. We involve children, never asked to be here, never asked to be born to parents that don't have sufficient competencies to stay out of court. So we have the most innocent victims imaginable of parents who aren't very competent. And we, judges, need to stand up and we need to say to every aspect of society, from the school that won't let the child back in because it downgrades their numbers under No Child Left Behind, to the agency that says I have to put these 3 kids in 3 different homes because I don't have one home. And oh, by the way, they're all 3 hours from anything the child's ever seen, their school, their doctor, their neighborhood, their friends, their churches. We need to say no. We need to say no politely but forthrightly. We need to say to the agency and we need to say to the society, these kids stay together, these kids stay in their neighborhood, and in fact, these kids stay in their home. And you make it happen, because they will make it happen if we as judges insist on it. And what I learned is that the judges do not understand and do not use the power that the judicial system intended for them to have. Now, I have to be careful here. Never be arrogant, never to be abusive, never be impolite. But I had a judge say to me, well, the problem in my county is continuances. I said, have you ever heard of the word denied? He said, I don't want to be reversed. I said, you go do a Westlaw search, which is an electric search, and you show me 3 cases in the last 1,000 years where a judge in a civil matter granted or denied a continuance and was reversed. It's in your sound discretion. You can move these cases. You need to understand your power. The same thing's true when it comes to splitting siblings. You do not need to split siblings. There are homes out there for them, and more importantly, their extended family can keep them. Go find their aunts and find their uncles and find their cousins. Find their adult nieces and nephews or their grandparents, other children that you didn't know exist. And we have mechanisms for you to do that now. Politely, but insistently. Gentle pressure relentlessly applied, and you can change the world, and you can protect these kids in your courtrooms. I had a case, again, when I was a trial judge in Allegheny County, back in probably the late 90s. The father's first wife had died drowning in a hot tub in Georgia. Ruled accidental death. Remarried, had 3 beautiful kids, about ages 12, 8, and 5, let's say. And lo and behold, his second wife, the mother of these 3 beautiful kids, died drowning in her bathtub at home. Well, the police didn't like that. They exhumed the body in Georgia. They took a very hard look at Pennsylvania. They charged the father with murder, convicted him, and jailed him for life. That left me with these 3 beautiful kids in my courtroom, articulate, smart, and bonded to one another. The agency comes in, and we had a good agency, and they said, we can't place them together. We're going to put them in 3 homes. We'll try to keep them within an hour of each other. I said to the kids, anything you want to say? And they said, we want to talk to you. And again, the 12-year-old girl was the spokesperson. I said, fine. So I actually got off the bench, went down, and I talked to them. And she said, we're not being separated, and there's not a thing you can do about it. I said, I'm not your enemy here. I hear you. She said, We're also staying in our schools, and the family that takes us in has to be Catholic. I said, you're asking for a lot. She said, that's what we need. We're a team. I said, well, we'll see what we can do. Talk to the agency. I said, go find me a Catholic family in their school district. You heard them. These are great kids. We're not going to be responsible for destroying them. I said, review in 1 week. Let me know how you're doing. Come back in a week. Judge, can't be done. I said, review in 2 weeks. I said, if you can't get it done, I'm going to get it done. They came back in 2 weeks, said, can't be done. I said, fine. Called the reporter for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Barbara Whitestack was always torturing me anyway. Said, you could do some good here. I said, put these kids in the newspaper. Called a reporter for a local television station and said, you can do some good here. Put these kids on. They did about a 3-4 minute piece on TV. And to my surprise, they put them above the fold on Sunday. We got 35 Catholic families from their school district who said they'd take them in. Now what do you do? I told them, go interview the families. Tell me who you like. They obviously knew what was going on. They came back and they said, we love this family. It's where we want to go. Talked to the family. They said they'd love to have them. Siblings stay together in their schools, with their friends, in their neighborhood, and in their Catholic religion, which was important to them. So it can be done. But sometimes you have to think outside the box. Show leadership, judges. Take control of your courtroom. You take care of these kids. This is your role. You're the elected official. You're the professional. It's your job to run your courtroom. It's your job to make respectful demands on parties and see that they comply with them. You do that, and you'll save children.